My sister begged me to hang out with my niece. So, yeah, docked in Cozumel.
I love Cozumel. I'm dreaming of scuba diving there one day.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You really know what time it is, baby. We're here to give you guys a review of Cherish the Day number 2. We're gonna hopefully catch up, hopefully. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returnees, baby, you already know what time it is, baby. Listen. You already know what time it is, baby. It's the mineral gang, baby. Here to give you guys a review, baby. You ain't got the mineral. That nose off. You ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. Alright, cool. Listen. So, guys. Guys, I started to like the character Gently James a bit more. Not that much more, but a bit more. So we kind of pick up this episode about a year later. We have a snapshot of them obviously catching up with each other after a gallery. All right, and we hear a conversation between Gently James and her friend, talking about a certain guy that she's kind of seeing at the moment, but they're not really seeing each other. And some things obviously progress for her and come along quite nicely. So then now at the art gallery, she's got another friend who's obviously the one that's kind of hosting this kind of thing. I hope I'm correct. And finally, she realizes in that place that, you know, old boy Evans is also in the same building. So she clocks him and he eventually clocks her, right? And what's really interesting is the way that they both feel about the situation. He's obviously clearly very hurt about the situation a year on and feels like obviously, you know, apology is due. She's still too proud to give in. And so when they kind of come together at the art gallery, they're almost like they're trying to avoid each other, but then they seem to now want to try and find each other in that space. And what's interesting, they kind of meet at the gallery piece, the painting, and they begin to discuss around the issue of what happened in the past, right? And it's quite interesting because
You don't stalk my Instagram anymore?
Oh, I canceled that on the ride home from Carson.
I deserve that.
so as well was the fact that he actually did try to, he obviously made a joke about saying, I accept your apology, and she didn't say anything, you know? And I expected her after a year and a bit, you know, to apologize for how she treated my man, you know? And, you know, I'd have thought that, you know, she'd have come to her senses and realized the thing and realized, you know, where her mind's at and realized that, you know what, like, I made a mistake, you know what I mean? But instead she didn't, you know, and didn't acknowledge that. And they obviously can still continue the conversation, and it, you know, she touches the arm very gently and then she invites him to bowling. So there's a bit of a flirt and everything like that. So we get to the bowling alley, and I think this is where it becomes very interesting for me. Obviously, they're at the bowling alley, yeah, and another dude comes up. Now I need to just deep this. Like, nobody's saying that's his girl, so she owes him anything. What we're saying is, though, if you thought there should have been something going on, yeah, between you and another guy or another girl, do you think another girl could come, yeah, and hug me from behind the way that this man hugged her?
What's up, baby girl? You wore that perfume on purpose, didn't you?
On purpose.
Like, if it, do you know what I mean? Like, that for me was a little bit of a sham, yeah? Like, if you're dealing with a relationship and you're trying to make a certain move here, for another girl to feel comfortable enough, or another guy to a girl to feel comfortable enough to come behind, grab your waist like that, don't tell me as a friend, and don't tell me y'all ain't having sex anymore, because blood, evidently he's comfortable enough to grab you from behind like that. Do you understand? That's a very comfortable position where your hands are going to be at. Do you understand? So when I deep the situation, yeah, when I see the situation, I think about it and I go, do you not think to shut man down early, cuz? You should have just literally pushed his hands away and be like, what are you doing? Do you know what I'm saying? But you didn't, because you're keeping your options open. And that's the whole point. And when people are keeping their options open, certain behavior doesn't get shut down because they don't want to kill off that vibe. Do you understand? Now, I'll be honest, you know, then he leaves, obviously, and she obviously goes to the toilet and they're going to end up having a conversation. What was interesting is obviously then Evans then gets the friend talk, yeah? And obviously, you know what, that's normal, you know. I can understand why she was questioning him and wanted to find out about him, find out who he is. Obviously, she's heard a lot about him, but now she's meeting him, it's kind of cool. And obviously they kind of bonded on where they kind of grew up and stuff like that, and the fact they're from out of town, etc., etc.
Evie, you brought food. What a gentleman.
Yes, thank you.
And obviously what we see again is Evan's, I guess, kind of, I don't want to say manliness, I want to say his provision. So when he goes to buy a drink, he goes to buy drinks and food, right? Now you can do this. Listen, let me tell you something now. It's not every guy. A lot of us guys would do that if the coin is right. Yeah? When your coin is right, my G, what? Snacks, drinks, and I can get you more blood. You understand? Most guys would do that, but when the coin ain't right, man become conscious and don't want to behave like that because they don't want to put themselves out of pocket. And it's a form of almost like an embarrassment that I don't have that kind of coin. So it's not always it's not an expectation. I know that women love that though. You understand? You know, I'm deep in it. The reason why I'm saying that is because you know me, I'm a person that always used to say, listen, I ain't paying on first date, and you know what, fam, you know, it's a nice gesture, innit? It's a nice gesture. The right person you do it for. So again, we saw Evan's kind of provisioning skill again, because when they were at the, you know, the last episode, when they were at the appliance store, you know, he offered to buy a brand new fridge at the appliance store, and it turned into a whole big beef. So again, to kind of see that parallel now, where he's now buying drinks and food, it might not seem a lot, but the gesture to do it is a big thing. You know what I mean? It may not cost as much, but it's still a big thing. Then obviously the ill-fated injury that Evans actually gets, and what's really interesting about that is, you know, it seems he obviously goes to the hospital, and you think to himself, rah, okay, man's got to go home now. Oh no. Obviously Evans gets the injury and she helps him drive to the hospital, and it's just them two. And I rate that, you know, that she helped him do that. They stayed a while in the lobby, they were talking, catching jokes, he slept a little while, they ate some food, they bantered. And these are the kind of moments that really build your intimacy and really build your relationship up when you're having good times, good memories, even though you got injured. But the fact the person took the time out to be with you is always going to be on someone's mind. Like, I always realize this is why I say, like, it's so important to be in the most important parts of your partner's life. Don't be missing those important moments. The most, you know, dear and the most important moments of that individual's life, of your partner, be there. Why? Because at the end of the day, when you're there, you know, your presence is felt and it's appreciated. And so we see that from her. And then when he finally goes into the nurses in the wheelchair, she gives him like some packet of crisps, I don't know what it was, bacon or sweet or whatever she gave him. The gummy worms or whatever, the sweets or whatever.
Oh, covered in gummy bears?
Yeah. I ate all the red ones, so.
Savage. Savage.
And you can see how much it means to him. Not because it's gummy worms, not because it's expensive, but it's just a gesture again. It's a sentiment behind it. It's the story behind it, you get me? And all of that is playing a part of building the bridge between the two of them. All the while, Gently James has not apologized yet. But alright, cool. So now obviously, you know, it seems that she's left, and he comes out and he's on crutches and he needs to get home. He calls his boy, and suddenly his car comes out by the valet, and he's like, hold on a minute, what's going on here? And all the while to realize that Gently James actually still around, and she's going to help him drive home. And again, this is another indication of somebody who has, you know, a decent character that wants to take care, that will take care of you when you're injured, and vice versa for Evans and Gently. And so for him, I know as a male, trust me, man them appreciate this a lot, cuz. That's why when man them say, listen, we want a girl that cooks, it's not the cooking. It is the instinct of care that we're looking for. Do you understand? The cooking is just a byproduct of that, but it's the care that the man them are looking for. They're looking for the girl that's, and I'm not saying women go and start cooking. No. I'm just saying it's a part of that care, that to see that a girl actually cares for you, that will take care of you. If you're injured or sick, she will look after you. Because as men, we had that from our mothers, the nurturing, and it continues into a relationship. Cool. So then obviously they get home, and they're playing some music and da 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 and etc etc. Like they're playing different tunes and that. He's got a collective collection, and I love the fact that she made a little denotion about the fact that you know, his collection is the way that he gets around the world, because obviously she has travelled quite a bit, quite extensively, and been around. And when I say been around, I mean been around in terms of visiting different places. And it was actually interesting because linked back to the beginning, he made a comment about the fact that I ain't stalked your Instagram, and she got a little bit upset. Oh, she's like, oh, yeah, I haven't stalked your Instagram. Like I don't know what you did. Like, I've been living my life. Like, what do you want to do? You get me? So that was it. That was kind of funny. And the reason why I found that interesting is because sometimes we want the person to stalk us. We want the person to be interested in us. We want the person to be watching all our pages. We want the person to be looking at everything that we're doing. We want the person to follow all of that kind of stuff, right? We want the person to do all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, when the person doesn't do that, you're like, oh, because we're half expecting that person to do that. Because it makes us feel good, right? It makes you feel good when you know that a guy that you previously dated is still checking up on you. It means that he cares, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Back to obviously the house now. They're obviously in the crib. And they do talk about what happens. And they have a disagreement, right? And she mentions, he said, obviously, we're going to talk about that night. And she said, you know, I don't want to be pushed, right? Let me read it. She don't want to be pushed. And he said, obviously, he doesn't like not knowing, okay? And he doesn't like being kept in the dark. And so there's always this kind of opposition where, you know, when we're dealing with difficult situations, there are always two sides to the story, right? And there's obviously the truth. Now, in that, there is an action that needs to come out of that, right? And so in this particular action between Gently James and Evans, there needed to be an apology on Gently James's behalf, right?
I mean, like, what's really going on?
I feel like you're doing it again. Pushing.
It's hazards of a type A personality.
Well, I don't like to be pushed.
Well, I don't like to be kept in the dark.
But we get to see why she acted the way she acted, because oftentimes it's the why also that's really frustrating, not the apology that we want. It's the why did you do it? Because if I know why you did it, then I can at least begin to understand your mind and your thought process, and I can give you a leeway. I can give you a pass. But when I don't know why you did it, then I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, he didn't want to give up the apology, and she didn't want to give up the apology. He didn't want to give up the pursuit of apology, and she didn't want to give an apology because she felt like if she did, then that would be given in. And so that's interesting. That part that happens quite interesting because, you know, they eventually get to a place where she does apologize, and she says obviously because she's scared of letting people get close, right? And obviously we see that from the first episode where she talks about, you know, her parent was obviously, what's his name, Bob or Bill, whatever his name was, who is a bit gangster, if you want to call it that, and she's very tetchy over that. So it now makes sense as to why she was so tetchy over the situation. But sometimes I feel like people can use that as a reason as to why they're being rude. Like, I get it, you don't like people getting that close to you, but that's not the reason. The reason is just that you're also rude. You understand? Yeah? No, because there's some people who are self-sabotagers, yeah? But they self-sabotage in a way that doesn't necessarily need to be rude. But some people will self-sabotage, and the only way they know how to do it is by being rude. It's because you're rude. You understand? It's because you're rude. Like, naturally, that's it. And sometimes we use excuses as to why we're being rude. Now, yes, we know that obviously she's distrusting, but that rudeness had no place.
I'm part of a rich bitch. This. Really, Evan? For real? You have a girlfriend?
And so obviously the apology is made. They kiss a little bit. She goes up to freshen up in the bathroom, finds a bra, comes in, throws the bra at him. Again, that mistrust is starting to work through her. Like, and he has to explain, listen, I had a girl, yes, I was, like, what do you expect? You had a man, I don't understand why you even getting vexed. And this is what I'm saying about Gently James and the hypocrisy that I don't really like. Because it wasn't long ago, it was in a bowling alley, my foot broke, yeah? When my man come up behind you, grabbing up your waist. Now you're getting vexed about a bra in the room. Now, fam, I only just saw you today. Why are you getting vexed? I only saw you today. I didn't know you were existing until today. And you're in the cribble. What do you want to do? I'm telling you, I don't have a girl, blood. But the girl left her things here. Yeah, because fam, I had other girls around there. Because what do you expect, rude boy? And not only that, then he had to convince her And I think this is one of the major key things I would say, that man them who are honest and genuine and real and keep it that way can have a better chance of earning someone's trust. If you've never told a lie, you've never had to be deceitful, then fam, you know, your word is bond. But when you've been deceitful, you've been mistrusting, and you know, now your word doesn't mean as much. And I think with Evans, because he's been of the opposite ilk, he's been truthful in that, she was able to take his word, but she needed convincing. I think a lot of women are in this space where they have been so badly hurt, and I understand this so much, where they have to, they just need convincing that you're not that type. And guys, please, I'm begging you, please be that type that's not going to be the bastard. Please be the type that's not going to add further pains in that particular way. Even if it doesn't work out, let's be honest and open about our communication, about how we're feeling, so that people know where they stand. But yeah, guys, that is Cherish the Day, episode 2. If you've got different views and opinions, let us know down below and we'll talk about it. I appreciate you, my guy.